Good afternoon, good evening. The lightning tongues are up, and so the rules are 7 minutes. You say your name, you introduce your topic, and the stage is yours. We have 7 speakers, and no questions, no answers. Yeah, and when your time is up, it's up. Yeah, that's it. And now give it up for Jason Mill.
How's it, guys? Thank you very much. 7 minutes, my goodness, that is very fast. Okay, so my name is Jason. A little bit about me, I'm from Cape Town, South Africa. I live there with my family and our ginger cat. I actually flew in from Cape Town this morning, so my arms are pretty tired. I work for a company called Flamelink.io. We built a headless CMS for Firebase. Are there any Firebases in the house? Anyone building anything on Firebase? There we go, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you come up to me afterwards and ask me a question about Flamelink, then you can get this pretty cool shirt. There's only 25 of them in existence at the moment. So come chat to me. And then if you have any great leads about coffee places in Prague, I'm here till Wednesday. If you can let me know where's some good places to go, that'd be awesome. What I wanted to talk to you guys about today is something that's very, very close to my heart, coming from South Africa, and it's the democratization of platforms and frameworks to drive technology for good. I believe that the way that we can address this is through 3 pillars, and that is skills and education, community and mentoring, as well as opportunity via government and the private sector. From the South African context, back in 2015 and 2016, there were these massive, large-scale, student-driven protests that fell under the hashtag of fees must fall. And what happened was, because of South Africa's very, very terrible political past of based on the color of your skin, you were given certain opportunities to study or not. What happened is there was a knock-on effect to the extent where you now have people who are the first or maybe even second generation being able to go to university. But the perception that's created is that the only way that you can get a job or a great job is if you spend 4 years at university and you rack up hundreds of thousands rands worth of debt. If you look at, this isn't just relevant to us in the South African context, but it's also relevant to places like America. I believe that the education system as a whole is broken, and I believe that we need to start looking at ways in which we can make learning opportunities for people a lot more accessible in places like South Africa and the rest of Africa. For example, there's a guy called Chris Esplin. He's a Firebase Google expert for Firebase. He's built this amazing course called Full Stack Firebase. He's a good friend of the Flamelink team. He's consulted on our database architecture structure for our Firestore integration support. But he's built this thing, and this is something that I feel is really very, very easily accessible. All you need is an internet connection, hook up, run through the various lectures, and then it should give you a pretty good idea to be able to start building amazing things on Firebase. Another bunch of guys that are really awesome, they also built their learning platform for View Mastery on Flamelink and Firebase. Again, really something that makes it very, very accessible for people to learn how to code in this particular language. These guys are amazing. They're called hackyourfuture.net, and basically what they do is every single Sunday in Copenhagen, Amsterdam, and one other place, they actually teach refugees how to code. And so basically, what is starting to happen is we're starting to see all of these various frameworks and platforms that are starting to make it super easy for people to build apps that can actually solve problems in the immediate community. For example, this is an app that a guy in the States built. It's a prayer app. He built it using Firebase, Flamelink, and Flutter. It went from build to launch in 5 weeks on iOS and Android with one full-time developer. And so we're starting to see how all of these platforms and frameworks are starting to make it very, very easy for people to build something that can solve an immediate need in their immediate community. And that's something that I'm very, very passionate about, and I'm glad that we're contributing to that. In terms of community and mentoring, one of the things I've learned is that developers, by their very nature, are very, very collaborative. They love to help. They love to problem solve. They're always giving advice on different forums, and I think that that's an incredible way to live your life. And I look if we can combine the community and that culture of that community if we combine that together in the way in which we do business, can you imagine what it would start looking like? Instead of us trying to undercut the competition, what we're actually starting to do is we're starting to help one another build really amazing things and solve immediate problems in our community. And it's that pooling of our collective knowledge that's going to drive this boat forward. And then, for example, opportunities within the private sector and created by government. This is a young lady by the name of Mandisa. She works as part of our broader team, and she went and learned how to code at Code for Cape Town. And their philosophy is very, very simple. They want to make it accessible for young ladies. They want to empower them to actually be able to go and build technologies that can solve problems in their immediate communities. And what it's going to require from government and the private sector is a lot closer working. So government needs to go and say, okay, these are the various courses that we actually recognize. In other words, you don't need to go and study a 4, 5, 6-year degree. You can do something that's several weeks, several months, and then incentivize the private sector to give people internships to be able to go and work on actual projects for 6 to 12 months, learning from amazing developers like yourselves in this room. And that's what I really believe is going to be the catalyst, is that close collaboration between all of the various stakeholders that will move this thing forward. And that's me. Thank you very much.
Well, I was asked to present here at about 1 hour ago. So sorry, I do not have any slides. I have just this paper with our quest on that. So a bit about me. My name is Karina Vašinova, and I'm coming from marketing communication team of one company. I'm not going to name it because it's not about the company. But I was thinking what to share with you, and one lady told me, hey, let's share what you do differently. So, as you can see, for example, on my t-shirt, I'm coming from a really regulated business. That means a pharmaceutical one. And as we are IT company in here, so it's a mix of pharma and IT. So we try to do something differently, or I try to do something differently. So that's a robot, but as a nurse. So we are trying to do crazy things and so on. And a part of, for example, myself, setting up the alarm clock, not 6 or 6:05. All the time I'm trying to do it differently, so 6:02, 6:14, and so on. So what else is different what I'm doing? So, for example, the merchandise. When I'm trying to think of something special for you, for everybody who is our potential, let's say, employee, so we try to focus on you guys. So that's why what our company taught me is to ask people and to have focus groups. So whatever we do, we just have our focus groups. So I bring some merchandise to our, let's say, Bazinga team, and they are kind of Lord of the Rings, the gloom. You know, when they see something special, they say, oh, my precious. And they would like to keep it and keep it. So when we know that if it works with them, so we try to use it here. The same is, for example, with virtual reality. Last year, I was really honored to spend 3 months at our 4th hub in the US, in Texas. And I was really kind of inspired by virtual reality they use. So I brought this idea to our Prague hub and say, hey, let's do things differently. And I brought VR to the senior house. So the oldest client who tried the VR was 93. Yes, wow, it was just, wow, amazing. I have pictures if you want to see them later on. So it was amazing just to see those people, you know, they were not able to move. They were on their wheelchairs and so on, but it was amazing to see the joy in their eyes. And it was not just about them seeing or bringing them Africa or seeing them super excited, but also feeling life from them and that they were able to talk about their memories and so on. So this is, again, another thing that I do differently. Well, another point I have here is internal communities. So as we know that you are quite, you know, superstitious, that there are not a lot of programmers we need. So that's why we try to do things differently and try to keep you at our company, or you, meaning you guys, programmers. So we would like, or we focus on internal communities, and whoever who wants to I don't know, create his or her own community, he or she can. It's really great. So right now we have, if I'm not wrong, more than 10 communities focused on different things, starting with volleyball and, I don't know, some really weird stuff that I cannot name because I do not remember those names. But also we have JS communities, and last week one lady told me, hey, I would like to create Mbit community. Well, why not? Let's do it differently and create that. And also we, let's say, founded the Kids Academy. So that means our employees bring their kids, and we, or not myself, but our teachers, our lecturers, they teach them how to code. It's amazing. Now we have more than 50 kids involved in that, and it's just wow. So really, we try to do things differently. Also, thinking of you all as an audience to our booths. So we try to think, what to bring? What is going to attract them? So last week I was attending the GeekCon conference for Java, or let's say big data guys, and I brought Ozobots. And you wouldn't believe, or probably you would, but it was, wow, it was a huge success. Because normally we use those Ozobots for that coding academy for kids, and it works. We teach how to think, how to use logic. And it was really amazing because people saw Ozobot blinking and moving and shining. So it attracted so many people. I think I also inspired a lot of them as a Christmas gift to buy the Ozobot. So it was super cool. So this is what I do differently. And probably the last thing I would like to share with you, yes, are the videos. So we know that, you know, if you type something on the website, yeah, that's great to have it there, but it's quite boring. So we decided to do it differently. And we decided to start a series of videos which are called One Day With. So if you have a time, if you are bored traveling somewhere, so please do find that on YouTube, and it's called One Day With. So we started with one of our colleagues, Luis, and Luis is our Scrum Master. So we managed to do the video One Day with Luis. It takes about 1.5 minutes, and within 2 days we have several thousands of views of this video. And also based on this video, Luis received several CVs because everybody believed really in that video. That was super fun, and it was realistic because Luis shared his one day with our company, so it was super cool. And I do not want to bore you with all the stuff that I do differently, so thank you very much. And I see that I have still 45 seconds, so if you have any question, feel free. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Mike. I'm born and raised here in Prague. And I'll talk about my brainchild, Catrix. Sorry, I'm no speaker, so that's why I am holding a phone, just to keep me on a track. Catrix is a way of building web application and websites. And I implemented the paradigm into several different frameworks. It's nice I can speak English because I can blame stuff later to just lost in translation. OK, by show of hands, who here from developers, I guess, is forced to work with different types of code, different frameworks, different, I don't know. OK. For our viewers at home, virtual, everybody raise their hand. Just kidding. OK, so the framework is currently in beta, which is Latin for still doesn't work, but I keep on going. It's in development for a long time. I let it season it. Basically, I started when emojis were called hieroglyphs. OK. Catrix, the basic concept has every page, every URL is represented by a page, which makes them unique. This page then is calling a module, which is basically just piece of code. It's MVC looking from different direction. The module then loads different components. Those components receive data from data stores and interpret them in in converters. Converter is a piece of code that changes something, the component, to a string. It could be XML, it could be JSON, it could be website, it could be anything. Sorry. Only page and data stores are allowed to use environmental things or to ask other things. I mean, like database or file system or whatever. It helps to encapsulate the module, so it's due to a better portability. But the main thing in Catrix are those components. During my web development era, which is last 15 years, I noticed that everything on the websites are either list of things, or it's edit things, or input data, or it's presentation of things. So in the whole concept, there are only just 3 kinds of components: list, view, and form. Oh, and I noticed also that the properties of columns in tables, for example, are the same as properties of controls in the form. So this one is unified, and by just changing the component, you can make a table just from a form. Thanks to this, it scales really, really well, because you can encapsulate those components together, and it satisfies needs of virtually everyone. It scales good for freelancers. Anyone freelancer here? It scales good for corporations. Anyone from a corporation here? Okay. And it even scales, I don't know, for a pope. Anyone pope here? No? Okay. Well, you laugh, but they were definitely computers in biblical times. I noticed there were no insects in paradise, and that's, you can tell God was a Linux guy, because there were no insects in paradise, because bugs crawling through open windows. Also, he got really pissed when Eve got an apple from a serpent, presumably called Steve. And he also divided the C and C++. I took common things for those languages and tried to take it and use presumably just them. For me, it's a way of learning new languages. It worked great for Java and TypeScript. For Spanish, not so much. It's prototype in PHP. Even it stands for People Hate PHP. I think it's a really great prototyping tool. Properly written in C#, hacked in Go, and raped in JavaScript. It even works in some obscure languages like, I don't know, Brainfuck, Whitespace, or Objective-C. For those who want to try Catrix framework, I spend quite a lot of time of documentation, because everyone keeps saying, you can read it, that it's like sex. I don't know. I appreciate any feedback. All I heard was either how great it is or silence, depending on if I was speaking or not. If you want to ask me anything or praise me, don't hesitate to talk to me, because that's pretty much all I can talk about. Call center guys really hate me. And even if I look busy looking at my phone, don't worry, you gotta catch them all, But if you just want to trash me, please don't. I'm running out of space to hide the bodies. And speaking of things I'm running out, one thing is one-liners from the internet, and the other is time. Thank you.
I promise that I will take with you a small look under the petticoat. If you know a little bit Czech, it's a Czech saying. It does not have any translation into English, but, well, we will take a look behind the screens. Oh, I know that on the second side, but whatever. If you've seen people running around with walkie-talkies and earpieces in and rushing around with these logos, these were us, and we are currently sitting behind the screens. And, well, we are camera technicians, for example, or we can do sound engineering. We are sound technicians as well. And we do a lot of interesting stuff. For example, this one is from, we made a live broadcast, basically, but it was on YouTube, so live streaming, from a hockey tournament between Czech Technical University team and the Charles University team in hockey. And if we promise that we will take you behind the curtains, behind the screens, well, this is what it usually looks like. And I'm actually glad that someone before me told that the video is a very powerful tool, because yes, we know that video is a very powerful tool, and therefore we are doing it. We're actually working with the video, and we are the people that are trying to help make your dreams come true, basically. Find new people. But to do that, we actually need a lot of cables. And I have some cables with me. And one of the things that we actually need to know how to do is how to coil the cable. I understand that this session is not actually about a hands-on experience. Therefore, I'm just standing on the stage and I have the cable in my hand. Otherwise, I will throw the cables at you, and we may start coiling the cables. But the thing is that we actually need to know how to properly coil the cable. Okay, you go this way. No, you will damage the cable. In few months, you can damage the cable if it's not a very good one. You should coil the cable. Oh, this is not very visible, right? Okay, so bigger size. No, this will not be visible as well. So this size, okay. This might be a little bit visible, I hope. So you should do one loop, and then you should do not this way, because, well, okay, I will make another one, and I will show you what will happen. You do not want to handle this cable anymore. Well, the thing is that you twist the pairs inside the cable, and they actually become damaged, or may become damaged in the near future. So, therefore, if you have a cable, and this one is a piece of cable, right? Then you should do that. You coil one loop, and you coil the other one the other way around. And then you coil again this way, and maybe another way around, and this way, another way around. Now, the cable is flat. And you are storing the cable flat, or almost. There's one loop extra. You are storing the cable flat in the position that it's usually used to be stored somewhere or transported somewhere, and therefore you do not damage it. So now you should know how to coil the cable. By the way, there are, of course, a lot of video tutorials how to coil a cable on YouTube. So you can practice with YouTube. So thank you for being a wonderful audience in here on the well, we can call it a meetup, we can call it a conference actually. So thank you for being here, and enjoy the after party that we are right now preparing for you.
Ahoj, byl jsem ubezpečen, že můžu mluvit česky, jsem strašně rád, protože angličtina mi dělá strašný problémy. Chtěli po mně, abych tady něco řekl, něco o akci, samozřejmě samý pozitiva, takže bych chtěl říct tohle. DevFest je strašně nádherná akce, je to teda moje druhá akce, kterou dělám jako org, a letos ji dělám jako support, protože jsem tady se svýma kolegama vypomohl dneska, abyste tady měli nějakou zábavu. A na DevFestu se mi strašně hlavně líbí to, že jakoby stmeluje ty lidi. To se mi na tom líbí strašně moc. Samozřejmě se mi líbí, čím se jakoby zaměřuje, kam to všechno jde. Ty DevFesty jsou každý rok jiní jsou lepší, každý je svým způsobem originál, ale to, co se mi líbí celkově na tom DevFestu, to už jsem to tady jednou řekl, a to jsou právě ty lidi. A lidi dělají DevFest. Jo. Líbí se mi to, že sem lidi přijdou, chodí na přednášky a užívají si to. Mně se dneska strašně líbilo, byli jsme zapojení do celé DevFestové hry, lidi za náma chodili a bylo na nich vidět, že byli spokojení a já doufám, že jste byli všichni spokojení, kteří s náma měli co dočinění. A když budu mluvit za kluky, tak bych vám rovnou i za tohle chtěl poděkovat, protože s váma byla krásná spolupráce a to je přesně to, co se mi líbí. Jak říkám, DevFest je o lidech a ne o technologiích, je to o tom, že se lidi sejdou. A jako mít nějakých 7 minut na to, abych tady chválil DevFest, to je strašně krátká doba, protože je toho strašně moc. A já se těším na další roky, na další DevFesty, na další témata, které na těch DevFestech budou, protože, jak jsem řekl, co DevFest to je originál. Já si myslím, že já jsem se to snažil docela skrouhnout. Nejde to, já bych tady mohl o tom mluvit. Půl hodiny, hodinu, fakt jako to prostě nejde. Takže doufám, že aspoň ty 2 minuty vám stačily. Ano? Ani jednu. Ani jeden. Jak to děláte? Jsme dobrý.
So, hi everyone. I'm not sure how to follow up that act. I wasn't expecting that. I thought there would be a tech talk and then I could, be within my realm, but yeah. You all have to tell me if that was a good talk. I couldn't understand any of it, but it sounded really great. Anyway, I do have the time there. Great. So I also was asked like an hour ago to give this talk, so I also do not have slides. I would love to have slides for you. So if you're interested in what I'm going to talk about, just come see me afterwards and I'll give you resources. Or you can find me on Twitter as Temakochi. So, my name's Pilar Huidobro. I'm currently a DevOps engineer at Meister Labs, and I've kind of hopped around all the stack because I want to know about everything and find out, what's good. But I'm going to talk to you today about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is community. So the title of this talk is Include Yourself. And if any of you have done Ruby, please do a tiny whoop, but that's a Ruby joke because, come on, there you go, Ruby. So, we're all here at DevFest, which is a community event. I have a feeling that lots of us wouldn't be where we are without our community to support us. And that's why it's important to also give back. And everybody seems to feel like giving back to the community or just being in the community is this big, daunting, hypothetical thing that you have to do tons of work for. It's your second full-time job. But it's actually not. There's so many ways that you can give back to your community. And the first one is going to sound obvious, maybe. It's not. It's not obvious to everyone. And that would be just attending events like this. Come to DevFest, come to Women Tech Makers Conference, come to local meetups. Because by you being there and being yourself, you're showing others that are like you that it's okay to be there. One of my favorite experiences was actually at my local DevFest. It was my second time attending, and I was kind of feeling self-conscious about, being new in tech and not knowing everything. So I was dressed in my geeky t-shirt and jeans, suit. I was fitting in. But I'm not really comfortable in that suit, I have to say. I like wearing dresses. I like wearing skirts. I love wearing makeup. So by the second day, I did that. I came as myself. I wore the poofiest, most princess dress that I had in my wardrobe, and I put on all the beautiful glittery makeup. And I stood out like a sore thumb, like it was me in a sea of t-shirts and jeans. But that was really important because, I don't want to give all the credit to myself, but I gotta tell you, by day 3, there were like 30 other poofy princesses in the crowd. And I feel like it was a tiny bit my doing because I was there feeling comfortable being myself. And just me being myself showed others who were not comfortable being themselves that it was okay. Now, that all sounds very hypothetical and very gooey, but it's true. Please do continue to attend these events, and please do continue going. I know there's a lot of events that sound very scary. Like, I gotta say, my first time going to any kind of DevOps meetup before I was actually in the field, I was terrified. I was so scared to be there. There were no other women. There were not a lot of young people. It was terrifying, but it was actually great. And then a lot, like, I don't want to say it was me, but I started telling people, you know what, it was scary, but it was really cool. You all should come. And then lots of people actually started coming, and we started getting a really diverse crowd. So please go to these events, even if they're scary. Find a friend who doesn't even do tech stuff. It'll be great. You'll have fun. You'll snack on the free food. It'll be fun. Now, I'm running out of time just because I love talking about this topic, so please do come talk to me about it later. But I'm going to just touch on the tech side because we're here at DevFest, right? I wanted to talk about open source. Open source sounds like a really scary place where, it's kind of, it's really scary to put your code out there for other people to see. But it's really important that you do. Please do contribute to open source, even if it's just a typo on documentation, because it's the same thing as attending an event. The way that you do things is unique, but it's not entirely unique. There will be someone who does things like you who will feel comfortable to also contribute. Maybe someone who follows you on Twitter and sees that they contributed to something, they'll be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should contribute too. And you'll slowly build a safe space for people to also contribute to open source. There's a lot of really great open source projects. And if anyone's a maintainer, this kind of goes out to you as well. There's a really great initiative that you can take, and it's called Your First PR. And what you do, when you find an issue in an open source project, a gap that needs to be filled, please write the most beautifully documented. It doesn't have to be very verbose. Use simple language, because not everyone speaks English as their first language. Use simple language, just detail out everything that needs to be done, and offer to hold the hand of the person that does the PR for that. Because you're going to be curating a lifelong contributor to your project. If you just hold someone's hand this one time to make a PR to your project or to just contribute to anything that you do, you're going to have a loyal friend that's going to feel comfortable contributing to your cause. Doesn't that sound really good? All you did was help someone, and they're going to help you the rest of the way. It's really good, trust me. So, I actually went pretty quickly through that. Well, yeah, please, it sounds kind of daunting also at these events, like, how do I organize an event? Okay, no, I don't have time to talk about that. Yes, I do. Reach the organizers. There's people in yellow shirts, and they're probably like, oh no, she's pointing to us. Please go talk to them. If you enjoyed being here, go talk to them and say like, hey, how can I help? There's so many little jobs that need to be done. For example, I'm going to let you in on a secret. I feel like 90% of the work is in sending out fundraising emails. It's so easy. You can send out one email to a company that you know. You can write to GitHub. You can write to your own company and say, hey, there's this cool event. Do you want to sponsor? And you're already doing so much because everyone else on that team is literally swamped with tons of things to do. So there's tons of little tiny things. It could be your special skill set. Please do include yourself in the community because you are so important and so needed. We need absolutely everyone in this community to do what they can to give back and keep making our community amazing. I ran out of time. There's so much more to say. Please come talk to me about community.
Thank you so much. Devos Pilar.
Good evening, everyone. Give me a second to connect my... Actually, I just walk around and pretty woman stopped me and asked if I'm a speaker. Actually, I'm not a speaker here, but I would like to try. I work in a massive interactive company. We do application for the customers with video delivery, and I'm primarily working on the project called Dozen. It's huge. It's the same as Netflix, but only with the sport content. And we deliver sport content. Yeah, and we do, my talk will be about code. Actually, we do our development in a special language called Haxi. It's not very popular in the development community, but it's very popular, it's very powerful language, which can be compiled to many other, it will be not compiled, but transpiled to many different languages, for example, JavaScript. That's what we use. That's the reason why we use Haxi language, and it allows us to write fully object-oriented code with everything what you want: inheritance, classes, encapsulation. By the way, I will give you a short translation for encapsulation. Yeah, encapsule. Yeah, it means that something you can put in a capsule. That means that you can isolate something. Yeah, really good abstraction to remember. Yeah, and Haxi allow you to use typization. As you can see, here is a short application written in Haxi. We have extension, we have classes, and it all will be compiled to the JavaScript, and the final product. Sorry, that was not final product. This is the final product. Will looks like is complete JavaScript, and yeah, this is, for example, to-do list, and yeah. So the language will be transpiled. There are the two types of converters for the language in one type to another. One is compilers, another one is transpilers like TypeScript. So Haxi is the same as a TypeScript. The community is very intensively growing, and the language is very powerful. A lot of things. So what we are using, we also use React. And there is a port of React to the Haxi language, and so you can use all fancy stuff like classes and object-oriented programming combined with React, and you can use components. For example, this to-do list. Yeah, everything that's you are already familiar with in React, you can use it, but with a real object-oriented, in a real object-oriented way. It's very performant. Everything will work very performant with a good performance, and we enjoy using React. Yeah. Besides that, you can wrap it around different MVC frameworks and enjoy using full MVC wrappers. For example, here in our application, we're using something like a pure MVC framework. We wrote it by the company wrote it by themselves, but based on the pure MVC. We have isolation for the view, we have isolation for the controller, and we have a model which is also isolated in a separate block. And view, where is it? Yeah, view is on this side is signalizing to the mediator that something happened, and mediator firing the command, and all the logic and business logic extracted to the command. And then, then command communicate with the models. Models do requests for the data to the backend services, and data may come back to the command, and command may update another model, for example. But also, it depends how you think about MVCs. There are the two types of MVC when you have a passive model and when you have an active model. Yeah, passive model, it's something like file system. Yeah, file on your local disk. It cannot produce any event about their update. You have to look for that update. And active model can signalize about data changes by themselves. So we are using a concept of active model. So mediators can have a reference to the model, and then when something is changing, model will be signalizing that, okay, data is changing, and mediator will be updating Vue. And Vue is completely a React application. We're just setting props and all that stuff, you know about it. And it looks like mediator is some kind of socket. You just plug any component to the system, and you have access to all the data you want and from any sources. Yeah, this is a way we develop application in Massive Interactive. We are hiring, and it's very interesting. Thank you very much. And please take a look at the Haxi.org.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michael, and I'm a dreamer. And please raise your hands, who is a dreamer too? Come on, guys. I'm sure all of you have some kind of dream. So let me share a little story with you. A long time ago, I had a lot of dreams, but particularly two of them. One was to visit Silicon Valley, one of the most hyped places in the world. And the other one was start my own startup. And let me share a story, what actually happened with those dreams. So, fresh out of college, I just decided, hey, maybe now is the right time to actually do one of my dreams, go to Silicon Valley. So I actually start searching for opportunities. How should I do that? And the first thing that came to my mind was like, maybe it's not so difficult. I have to just buy a plane ticket, right? That's it. And yeah, that was it. I thought maybe I should prepare somehow. So I started searching for job opportunities. I tried to improve my language just by buying a Netflix subscription. And actually, that was it. I found a good job opportunity. We exchanged a few emails. Everything looked fine. I actually found a guy who offered me like a decent accommodation for a while, just to, you know, sort things out. And everything were so cool. I was like, yeah, everything will be great. So I bought a plane ticket, flew to San Francisco. However, during my flight, actually it was a few flights, I actually messaged the guy who offered me the job and asked, hey, everything is fine? Is it still there? And they responded me back, hey, we are sorry, some other company bought us. We don't have any time doing anything like that. And I've been just in the middle of, you know, 2 plane rides. So I was like, what should I do? Should I like turn around and like go back? So I tried to check at least my accommodation. And the guy didn't respond at all. So I was like, okay, so I am fucked up. So I quickly found another guy through Facebook, which was actually moving in 2 weeks out of San Francisco. And he told me, you know what? You are coming on Thursday. I'm leaving on Friday. We have a couple of hours. I will like bring you to my apartment. You can sort your stuff. And I will come back in a week or so. And then I will just, you know, move away. I will just return the property to landlord and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, really? So yeah, just to continue. I had a place to stay. I did a few, actually 25 interviews in a week and hackathon over weekend. And yeah, I found actually a good job opportunity. It still works. It was a great startup. It's actually a company which is doing dating apps, which is actually exciting field. I didn't know about them before. That this is so interesting. And yeah, it worked. And everything can work if you put enough passion in it. So I decided, okay, one dream, done. Perfect. So let's move to another one, right? So actually, I returned. I actually started a company. I've been so passionate about code quality. So we did a tool that can measure code quality and give developers feedback how to do it better, which was awesome for us, but we learned so much things. And yeah, it's still a long way to go there. But my message, what I would like to share with you, just believe in your dreams. You can do it, any one of you. And there is no exception. But you need to put a lot of work in it and believe. And don't lose your faith, because this is the only thing that can bring you to the place you are dreaming of, or to a state you are dreaming of, whatever it is. So please, if you can do anything if you put enough passion about it. Thank you.